Welcome back to the Honey Jam podcast. Today we are back at my home, at my parents' home, and I brought a very special guest for this week's episode. This guest is a dear Onni from church, a dear Onni of mine from church. Actually, a newer friend. Actually, I think we've only known each other for like
4 or 5 years.
Wait, already?
Yeah. 4
Oh
or 5 years.
wow! Okay, I was gonna say like
that's longer than I
2,
thought.
3 years.
No. Wow.
Okay. Well, I want to introduce you guys to my friend Grace.
Hello.
Welcome,
Hi, everybody.
Grace. Grace came and she brought a beautiful peach pie from Bristol Farm. So we're just snacking over here on the floor. Thank you, Grace, for this wonderful, delicious pie.
And we have to talk about why I brought a peach pie specifically.
That's right. And if you know, you know.
Wow, I feel honored to be on this podcast. I feel like I've been a longtime fan since episode 1. I have nothing of value to provide in this podcast.
What? Are you kidding me?
No, really, I don't.
Grace is yes, you have been very supportive of our podcast, and I'm so thankful. And I was like, we need to just have you on the pod. And she was like, no, I can't say anything. And then like a day later, she says, you know what though? If I were to come, how about we talk about these things? I was like, Grace, I love it. And you're so like Grace is very intelligent and very organized.
No, definitely not.
But also so still chill. Like you're so like type A, but chill.
Yeah. Okay. So actually on that note, what's really interesting is everyone thinks I'm chill, but I am hyper type A inside. And I feel like in college, my friends would be like, "Oh, where are you from? You're so chill. You seem like you're from California." I'm like, "Oh, I'm actually from New York.
Yeah.
I'm from the East Coast." And they're like, "Oh, but you give off such a calm vibe." I'm like, "No, not at all." So I feel like I don't know why I give off that vibe, but
it's just internal, I think, and you don't make it obvious. And it's like you don't, put. I feel like no hate to type A people, but sometimes I feel a little like not pressure, but just like they have a way and they think it's kind of like the right way sometimes. Yeah. Which I appreciate sometimes, I like that direction, but I don't ever get that from you. But anyways, the point is like, you came prepared to this podcast.
Yes, I did. I was like, give me an agenda.
Yeah.
We can't just like casually talk through this podcast.
Yeah. That's
but
right.
yeah, I will refrain from trying to be controlling.
What? No, this is about you today. So I want you to tell us everything. So I guess we can start with like how we even met, right? Yes. Like you said, you're from New York.
We met actually during like a brand new season in my life. Like I had just become a mom. So I have, kids. Yeah. My husband and I, we were basically new to Los Angeles in that like he's from here, but I am not. And we were looking for a community. I think I was struggling with the fact that I wasn't going to be moving back home to New York, and that I was entering this new life stage without my parents nearby physically or like my closest friends nearby. So I think you met me actually at like a pretty low period in my life. Yeah.
Like in the trenches with baby.
Yeah, baby, no community, new to a city during COVID. And so, I think I really struggled with just like my identity, who am I, what is LA, what is my community? And I think we met because of Citizens. Like we met from our church, and we were basically seeking out a community in our area, and that's essentially how we met.
Yeah, and Grace and her husband were our community group leaders. And so that's when we really got to, I don't know, like I feel like our group was really strong, like a really strong group of people, but I think a lot of it had to do with like your guys' leadership. So
no, I think we may have played a very small role, but I really think it is the makeup of our group. When initially we were talking about getting together a family group in the Valley, I was like, oh, it's going to be a bunch of families like that we don't know and new relationships. Like, would we actually have a like would we be able to basically deepen relationships with these people who are also all really busy with young kids? And then, you know, as part of our makeup, they were like, oh, we're gonna also have this like newlywed couple, and I was thinking like, why would they want to join a like a family group with a bunch of like moms and dads, and would they feel I don't know, out of place? But we gelled so well, and I look back at that really fondly. That group was so special. Like, as I mentioned, just kind of being in such a low part in my life and the season that I was in. I think it was just really nice to be able to like connect and have like older sisters and then like younger sisters and be able to just, be a crew that kind of like grew to be one that we really enjoyed seeing each other and learning from each other, etc.
It was so natural.
It was.
Like, it was, we like met like once a month.
Yeah.
Online, so
which
it's like
is so removed too, right?
That's true. It's so easy to just be like, all right, go on, and then that's it. But I feel like we really somehow were able to share life with each other during that 1 month, once a month, and then like seeing each other at church. So we really made it happen. And I'm really thankful to have met you through our church. And also, if you're wondering, Grace has such a nice voice because she also is a singer. She sings for a church. She's part of the praise team. Beautiful voice. You have a beautiful podcast voice.
No, I do not.
You do. It's very like clear and like
is it?
You enunciate perfectly. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Actually, someone did once stop me on the street and asked me if I'd be interested in voice acting.
What?
Yep. This was very random. This was when I used to live in New York, and I remember it was like close to Penn Station, and someone was asking for directions, and then they basically said, "Have you ever considered voice acting?" And I was like, "No." And they were like, "I think you would be." Like, you have a really great voice for voice acting, like especially, I don't know if this person worked at Nickelodeon, but they were like trying to sell it to me. I know. So,
but you were like, no.
I was like, no, I don't know. Does that make money?
Wait, I'm sure they make a lot of money.
Well,
I can see that.
Even beyond the like money, I was like, I don't know. I never pictured voice acting, but interesting. So,
yeah. I mean, speaking of New York, though, like I forget sometimes that you're from New York because you're so like deep into Valley culture. Like, Grace is like super proud to be in the Valley and like even more, you know, a Valley lover than me, and like especially David. I mean, David does. I mean, he grew to love it a little bit, like it. But I forget that you're actually from New York.
You know, it's funny because I think it's because I want to be proud of where I am and where I am situated, and I want to. And I think like it's kind of like when people look down on certain things, I want to find ways to like show the positive end of it, or like the good aspects of it. And so when people are like, oh, there's nothing to do in the Valley, it's so hot, or they're like, there's no culture, I'm like, there is so much culture. This is like LA City proper. There is so much history here.
Do you ever like miss New York? Do you ever think about it? Because it's so different, like the Valley versus New York.
I do. I think when we go visit and see my parents, there are a lot of things that I miss. Obviously, the relationships, my parents, being close to them, my friends who I only get to see maybe like once or twice a year now. But yeah, when you're there, the energy, as everybody likes to talk about, is just so different. Like everything is thriving, I feel constantly, and there's a lot of like it's like adult Disneyland, we always say. Like you get on a train and you hop off and you go to a destination, you go back on a train, and you know, I feel like just that proximity thing is really different in LA, and the accessibility to things. So I think in that respect I miss it.
But I feel like it's fitting for you now to live in the Valley because you know you have kids and like you know, you guys are busy.
Although I don't know, I was like, maybe one time in my life I envisioned, you know, being a mom, raising kids in New York City. But then I think that's a pipe dream. Like when push comes to shove, that's also like, that's really hard in a different way.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. I think I am very much at peace with where I am now. And again, like I'm trying to love where I am and be rooted where I am and give back to the area that I'm in, and also like raise kids in a different space.
Grace, you want to talk about Chat GPT?
Oh my gosh, yes.
So I'm very curious. Do you use Chat GPT a lot?
I do. I use it in my personal life and in my work life, and I think there's just I have nothing to impart in terms of like wisdom on how to use Chat GPT, but I will say like fundamentally it has been such a enlightening technology.
Yeah. Wait, can I ask, like, how do you use it, like, for personal things?
So
if it's not too personal.
No. So recently, actually, I used it for deep research. Have you used the deep research feature? I'm very new to it too. Basically, it's just like I'll probably not speak to this well, but think of it as like a really smart researcher, to simply put it. I realized I don't know anything about my paternal grandparents because they passed away when my dad was really young. I think they passed away while my dad was in military or kunde serving.
So you never got to meet them?
Never. Yeah. My mom never met them. So I know nothing other than what their names are. And that even sometimes I kind of forget. So I have to ask my dad again, like, what was my grandfather's name?
Yeah.
So this was like in my conversation with my dad. He's like telling me about like, like this is Harabaji's name.
I see.
He was like a local politician. And he's also from Jeju-do. So I was like, which is Jeju Island. Yeah. So like, those were like the little bits that he told me. And I was purely out of curiosity wondering if I could leverage deep research to find any information about him, because technically, like, even though he wasn't like a big figure in the political scene, like he did have roots in the political whatever in Jeju-do. And so I looked up his name, the fact that he probably ran for something like a local position after the Korean War. And I think that's literally all I put. And it said, okay, yeah, like, thanks for the information, whatever. And it took about 15 minutes. It said, this will take some time. And during the 15 minutes, it'll like go through, like, these are the sources we're looking through. And they'll like mention different like archives or websites, etc. And then after the 15 minutes, it actually gave me a full book report.
What? On your grandpa?
It's like, like, so this is his, he was running for, I forget what specific role, but, or what position, but he came in like 5th, but, he was super involved in building up the community back up after post-war era. He started some like track association that was all about like leveraging sports as a way to like bring up the ethos of, I don't know, stuff like that. And I was like, wow, this is freaking powerful. So then what I did was, translate this report into Korean so that I could fact check this with my dad. And so the next morning I asked my dad, like, Appa, I looked up this information about Harabaji. Is this accurate? And he was like, wow, this knows more than me. But he's like, yeah, this is pretty much up to par.
Crazy.
He's like, I remember remnants of him being involved in this associations and blah, blah, blah. So anyways, that's like a very recent use of it. And I was like, this thing is freaking powerful.
A politician who is athletic and loved by his community.
I don't know to that extent. But yeah, it's like that impressive. So if you have, like,
it's kind of scary.
I know, it is kind of scary.
But it's cool. It's cool because you didn't get to know him and now you can learn so much about him.
Yeah, exactly. That's obviously a very specific example, but like I'll also be like, hey, like I want to cut down on like bad cholesterol or like whatever. And like these are my recent blood work results. Like tell me how I should adjust my like daily diet, and I specifically like to eat these kinds of things, like give me a meal plan. And like it's essentially been like a pseudo nutritionist slash like personal trainer. So I'm sure those are ways that everybody else is using it, but I thought it's been pretty impressive.
I actually used it today for lunch, so I was like, I have nothing to make, but I know what I have in the fridge. So I was like, I actually don't use ChatGPT too much yet, just because I don't have the like the paid option. I use just the free one.
But the free one is pretty, the free one's pretty good too.
Yeah, it's not bad. You just have like a limit, like a cap of like how many questions you can ask. So I asked like ChatGPT, okay, I have tomatoes, mushrooms, and bacon. Like, give me a pasta recipe. And I made pasta out of it, and it was so good, actually.
Well, I'm telling you, I feel like people always talk about like, the jobs that this will replace. And sometimes I'm like, I think it'll just make us better at our jobs, and it'll adjust the scope of our roles. Because much of this can also be like better automated or will be done better because Chat GPT, you know, can do things a lot faster with a lot more breadth of detail. But I also fear like the future. Like, what does this mean? I feel like we're at such a beginning stage of the technology where I'm like, my kids who will grow up with this having always existed, like what will that mean in terms of how they learn or how they reason, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think about that all the time. But you know, sometimes it's just you don't want to think of, it's just a headache.
To live in ignorance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's my style.
Yeah.
I live in the present, you know?
Yeah.
If you think about the future, it's like endless. But it's funny because I also have a friend I won't name. She uses Chat GPT like every single, she has the paid one, right? She even asks like questions about her relationships. And then I saw it and it's like very legit advice.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yes. No, so I know people who have taken transcripts of their therapy sessions and have trained a model to be like, hey, read through like my last, I don't know, 15 sessions with my therapist, and will then ask questions that they would typically ask their therapist and get pretty solid responses. Oh my gosh. And so then I asked this person, like, does that mean then you no longer need a therapist? And they were like, no, it just helps me reframe or like go even deeper than I would, or cut the amount of time on the like top end of the conversation, because I've already prompted my therapist engine to like answer that, and then I would go even deeper than in the actual live conversation. Oh my gosh. So it like deepens their sessions.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Back to the point on like, I don't think it'll replace jobs. Right. Maybe it'll just like reframe the scope of people's roles.
That's true, because it, like no matter how close it can replicate the therapist, it's like it, you know, there's some things that it can't do that a human can only do. Right?
Yeah. I know.
So I hope,
Well, so sorry, because we're talking about ChatGPT. Something else that I saw someone recently do was like, because they use it so often, they asked it like, "Hey, what do you think I look like?"
Oh my god! Oh, so scary. That's kind of scary.
That's what I mean. Like, there is like a borderline to this experience where you're like, "Oh, it's so smart, it's so cool," and then when does this start actually bordering and maybe like crossing the boundary of this is really creepy?
Yeah.
But then they so they asked, someone that I know asked that on ChatGPT, and they got an image generated back to them.
Oh my gosh.
And granted, it doesn't look exactly like that. It was pretty freaking darn close.
What the heck?
Just like the persona that they had on this like portrait image that they thought was the person.
Wow.
It was really creepy and weird, and also like kind of also cool.
Yeah. I feel like in the back of my mind, I'm a little scared. And so that's why I don't want to depend on it too much. But it is very helpful.
I know. I mean, I think I'm getting stupider as I use it more too. So I'm trying to figure out like, how do I still stay like on top of my intelligence and like growing my brain, but also leverage the product or the technology.
The next topic Grace prepared was palm/face reading. Oh my gosh. And this is very interesting because, you know, Grace is a woman of faith. And, you know, as Christians, we don't believe in palm reading or, you know, psychic abilities. So I'm very curious why you thought of this topic.
No, I was like, okay, if I go on the podcast, like what are some stories that I have? And I don't feel like I'm good at telling stories.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. I was actually at a work event in New Orleans, maybe back in March. And long story short, there was like a closing event that was hosted, and as part of the New Orleans culture and there being a lot of like face and palm reading things.
Oh, really?
It's very
I've
spiritual.
Never been. Oh,
very spiritual city.
I just know like jazz is really big and food, like what is it called, like bubba gum.
Bubba gum.
What is it called?
Isn't it gumbo?
Gumbo. Yeah, that's all I know about New Orleans. I've never been, but I really want to go.
Oh yeah.
So anyways, it's very spiritual.
Yeah, very spiritual. And so there were 2 palm/face readers in the room, and I actually hesitated for like a hot second.
Wait, this is at a work event?
It was just like a closing event. I see. And there was like a performer, and it was just like a casual happy hour, casual space, and yeah, they had these two folks on different sides of the room, both dedicated to like palm and face reading. And so I hesitated for a hot second because I was like, I could hear my mom being like, Grace, what the hell are you doing? This is totally against your faith and your upbringing. But then also I was like, keeping my mind open. I'm not saying like, you know, I will walk out of this and like convert into XYZ, but
it's just for fun.
Yeah, totally for fun. And I actually thought one of my coworkers framed it to me as, don't walk in thinking like they're going to be telling you your future or who you exactly are, but rather whatever they say in terms of the interpretation of your cards, think of it as prompts for like reflection. Like translate what they share as like questions that maybe you could journal about to be like, oh, and interpret it in the way that you see fit. So without being vague, as an example, like they did mine, and I don't even remember exactly how they did it, but like they'll ask me to center my energy or something and then like put
center in Jesus.
I know, truly, but put it over the deck of cards.
Oh, interesting.
And then they have a very specific pattern that they place the cards down in, and each part of that pattern indicates like something about your life, whether it is like where you were, where you are right now, or where you're heading.
Okay.
Some of the things that came to mind was she looked at me and as she was doing my my reading with the deck of cards, she was like looking at my face, and I clearly knew she was face reading. And she said,
관상.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah, like, I mean, Korean version is face reading.
And I can't actually remember the term, but you know, like this dimple part right above your lip. She said, oh, that's super pronounced. And usually if it's that pronounced, you're like staring at me.
Looking at it.
She's like, if that's pronounced, it means that you need a creative project in your life.
Ooh.
I was like, that's so random and specific. So she said, and it was very, very prescriptive. She said, it either means you are in need and you have a desire to invest in a creative project, or you need to have more kids. And I was like, okay, so I don't get how those are related, but definitely I am not in the camp of more kids. So I guess I will have to venture on a creative project.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, I don't know, but like that has stuck with me where I've been thinking like, what is that creative project? And does she literally mean a creative project or a figurative project?
What could be a figurative project?
I don't know, like taking a creative approach to my life. Or,
I
don't know, something less like it's an actual literal project that I want to start up. She said that as she was like staring hardcore at my face, and then she'll do the rest of the cards, and basically she told me like, oh, it feels vague, but like, oh, you just came out of like huge hurdles, and maybe because this is a work event, like there have been some things that have been really challenging in your work, but like there's a lot of upside coming, and there's a lot of visibility and like light coming your way. And then there was like a death card, and I think some people can take that super literally, but she was like, I don't want you to think of that as like actual literal death, but rather like it is an end to a certain season in your life, or something again more figurative is coming to an end. Maybe it is more about taking whatever she said with my card reading and translating that into like prompts where I could actually spend more time reflecting on like, did something in my life like come to an end recently? Because I feel like I haven't had time to reflect more on my life lately.
Yeah, because everything's just been go, go, go.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, these are great prompts. Almost like QT. So that's where I'm like, oh, the lines are getting blurred.
You're reflecting as a Christian. With those prompts, with those questions, you know, and I think it's fine.
I think so too. And honestly, I see it as like a very enlightening experience where like I've never done anything like that before. And so, but there were people in the room who were like, oh, we like based on my culture, we stay far away from that. Like it might not be a religious thing, and it might be a cultural thing, but they're like, we don't want to, or I don't want to, do it even if I'm curious. And I was like, should I have that same mentality?
Yeah, I do think it's interesting that they had that at like a casual work, because it could be kind of like controversial, you know, like. I know. But honestly, if I were there, I would have done it with you too.
Yeah. No, if anything though, I think they just like really leaned into the fact that like, hey, this is an event that is all about like, you know, our roots, and we wanted to like lean into the New Orleans culture here and
That's
the
cool.
roots of that. Yeah. And so I appreciated kind of the framing of it. But yeah, it was like one of those very notable experiences where I walk out of it thinking, oh, that was interesting.
Yeah. And it's I feel like you have been itching a little bit to do something outside of work, right? Because work has been really busy for you, even outside of normal hours. I don't know why I never really trusted like psychics in America. I always think like, oh, you know, in Korea they have like, it's not psychic, but it's based on like the dates and numbers.
Right, because you were talking
history.
about that for your wedding and stuff.
I mean, I don't believe it, but
yeah.
That's interesting. For sure, if there was something like that for free at a work event, I would do it. Just to hear what they would say about me.
I think, that's where I was at.
So like in terms of projects then, is there anything else that came to mind? How about like family projects?
Nice segue.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a hard pivot. No, because I was telling, breaking the fourth wall. I was telling Janice like, oh, there's like, if I were to like talk about topics like, oh, there's like family projects that I've worked on in the past. So actually, no, there is a relationship here. Randomly, I'll be in a life stage where I'm itching to do like a creative project. So maybe that, face reader was right. That like it's time for me to invest in something like that.
That is interesting that the person like saw that, because you could have been like, oh, it's an Asian person. You need to invest in going to school. Like, you know, like grad school. But she said creative projects.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, that can mean so many things, right? But I think when I look back at the last self-prompted creative project, it was definitely like before I got married, there was a big hunger on my side. It goes actually back to family of origin stuff. But wanting to unpack my family's history and like document it in a creative way. Oh, it was actually right before my grandma passed away too, which I'm thankful in that regard that it was so timely. I remember I like interviewed her at my emo's house, and I was like, hi Minnie, I just want you to like kind of tell me about your story.
Kind of like a podcast on the side.
Literally. Okay, so side note, I was gonna say, because I listened to the most recent podcast that you released, and it was with your dad, and even just with her mom, I was like, how special that sometime in the future, like their grandkids or like relatives can listen back on their stories, and that it was recorded through your podcast forum. Like that's something that is very special.
That's true. I think that's why like I keep doing this too. It's just like something to look back on, and like even this episode, you know, we'll be able to look back on it. Your kids will look back on it, you know. So you were already doing that even way before with your grandma.
And I wish I had even just the idea to pause and actually record that conversation, because I remember I was just like writing it on a notebook, and that is one of my bigger regrets about that project, that I didn't actually record that conversation with my grandma. But yeah, she kind of like talked me through her story, like and you know how she met my 외할아버지 or her husband, and their story from, you know, raising a young family in Korea post-war, then to moving to Brazil, which is where they like my mom spent majority of her like childhood to early young adulthood, and then moved eventually to the States, to New York. And so I remember like interviewing her, taking a bunch of pictures at my emo's house, because she has all of the old family photos. And I told my mom that year, I want to go to Brazil like alone.
Whoa.
So I said, I'm gonna go to Brazil alone.
How old were you?
I was probably 24. And I said I want to take this trip. I basically want to retrace your childhood and find your old home, go to your old church, and just like eat the things that you enjoyed as a kid. And I just, was really obsessed with the idea of like experiencing that and then documenting it in such a way that I could gift it back to my mom and also make it a gift for myself.
Wow, so thoughtful.
I know. I don't know what happened to me. Not that thoughtful anymore.
So beautiful, because I feel like young people don't really think or like, they don't really think to ask about, you know, the parents' past and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like we are more curious. Like I'm definitely curious I always ask my parents or like my grandparents, like, you know, what their lives were like. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've never sat down and like done that to that extent where I like wanted to go way back and like actually experience it for myself.
But I could totally see you doing it. And whether it is through like Honey Jam or something else, like for you and Jess, I could totally see you putting together an artifact like that for your family, because I feel like you're very thoughtful in that way too.
I think, yeah, I don't know, maybe starting this podcast, it made me like that. But so you went to Brazil?
I did. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it was really, in hindsight, ignorant and brave of me, because frankly Brazil isn't the safest country in some spaces and regards, right? But my mom still had a friend there who still lives there, and so I stayed in 3 different cities, and one of them I stayed with her with him. It was a family friend. And then in other places I just like, he is a minister in Brazil, so he connected me with like pastors in the 2 other cities I'd be in. And then it was actually kind of funny because one of the cities I stayed at, which felt a little sketchier, I was at an Airbnb, which was actually, you know, like a nicer hostel. And my family friend who I stayed with first in Sao Paulo was like, okay, you connect with this pastor that I know there, okay? If anything happens, because you're alone and traveling alone as a woman, like, just contact him and he'll be the one to pick you up from the airport. So honestly, I felt like a burden because I was like, I'm just like random chick like on this solo trip, and he's probably like, why do I have to take care of this person? Anyways, he connected me with different pastors, and one of the cities that I was in that again felt a little shadier, he was like, oh, why are you here on a trip? You should come back for missions. And he kind of like reprimanded me.
Like, why are you vacationing?
Oh, it literally. I was like, I'm not going to sit there and explain to him like, well, I'm working on this project. It's a personal, you know, passion project. And he'll be like, no, you come back for Jesus.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I did go alone, and it was definitely like like I look back and think that was pretty gutsy of me to do it.
It's something you can only do when you're like young, right?
Because I thought I was invincible.
No, without any strings attached. And so you went and like took photos and like journaled and everything?
Yeah, so I like took pictures of, I went to my mom's old house. I took a picture of its current state. I like found all the things that she enjoys eating, and I ate that and took pictures of it. I went to her high school and took pictures of the high school. I came back and basically put together like a album where I juxtapose some of those things, like, hey, this was a photo that I found of you in that house, and then this is the current photo right now of where it is.
Wow. So did she love it?
You know, I want to say that I remember her really loving it, but I think she was just like, cool. It was very
you were like, oh, it's gonna be so sentimental. It's such a beautiful moment.
Exactly. I was like, oh, this is gonna be such a special thing that my mom and I share. And she was like, oh yeah, this is cool, this is nice, you know, very much like drained that energy right out of me. But no, I think in hindsight she still does appreciate it, and you know, I appreciated if anything that I got to do that, and that I have a physical book that although it's at my parents' house, like maybe one day like I'll be able to give it to one of the kids and so, or both the kids, and so
wait, that's so special. And I feel like you living in that space and like putting yourself in that perspective, like where your mom used to be when she was young, I feel like that would have been like such a crazy feeling.
It was, and it made me realize again, obviously this is an obvious statement, but you just remember that your parents were not always parents.
I love that so much. You forget.
And I felt that when I was listening to your dad's podcast too, or his episode where he was talking about how he was like in high school when he met your mom, and I was like, yeah, they had a whole life ahead of being your mom or your dad. And I think that's what I viscerally felt being in Brazil and like walking in quote unquote her shoes.
Exactly. How does that make you feel as a parent?
I think like one day I would hope my kids also see that we had a life before them, and I want them to be aware that of like what my upbringing was and how that shaped me to be who I am, and how that affects then like my parenting of them. So I think more than anything, it gives them more understanding into your personhood. And I would hope that we could instill that in our kids too.
Oh, that's so perfectly said, Grace. I feel like you and your husband are really good at like being parents, obviously, to the kids. But I love that you guys also, maybe it's because you guys are still like young parents too. Like you guys still make sure to have like kind of your own lives too, like very active at church, or like you always have these ideas of like wanting to do creative things. Your life is very rich in, you know, other aspects as well.
Wait, that's really insightful to hear from a outside party, because when I hear that, I think all I feel is guilt, actually.
Really?
Why? Because I feel like again, work has been really demanding, and our kids are at an age where they require a lot of our care and support and our presence. And I like every mom, you know, who struggles with it, definitely I have a big tension with mom guilt. And so,
are you getting emotional?
No, not emotional.
You can be though.
I know. But I think I struggle with it because it's a true tension. Like, I want to be a really present and caring and attentive mom and not be so bogged down by like the demands of work. I also want to be really present in my approach to community and church. And there are so many things I want to do, but I can't do it all. And I'm so tired too, right? And so, I struggle with that a lot, where I'm like, well, I only have so much to give. And if I literally look at it as a pie, like majority of this, I think in my season right now, I feel like I should be giving it all to my kids. But then when I hear someone say like, oh, but it feels like you have such a rich life and you're, you know, like doing stuff at church too, I'm like, but I'm not doing it for my kids instead. Like I'm not allocating it towards there or like nurturing my family. Like,
no, you are. It's like you're like doing everything you can for your kids, but also, you know, you have to have, you know, your interests and your hobbies.
Well, I will also say it is a big thanks to my husband. I feel like my husband is a very present dad.
Shout out.
Even me being here and like having this conversation and catching up with you tonight is like fully possible because he's so present, and I, if anything, feel he over indexes on like giving me space to do these things and like being there for the kids.
And then you make sure to also give him like free time too. It's always you know,
I do, but I don't know if he wants it as much as I am open to giving to him. He's like, no, I like what I'm doing, which is
then it works. That's what works for you guys.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
We remove that guilt because you are a great mom. I see it. The kids love you, you know, and you're doing great.
Thanks.
Okay, well, last but not least, I also want to allocate a little bit of time to talk about our favorite show, The Summer I Turned Pretty. Whoa! I started watching The Summer I Turned Pretty, and did I introduce it to you?
You did. I think you actually introduced it to our family, our old family group, all the like ladies. And I don't think anyone took upon your excitement. They were like, oh, okay, that sounds fine. Like it's like high school drama. Why do we want to? So it didn't land for me initially when you told me about it.
But then you got sucked in.
I think, and I'm trying to remember how I got sucked in, because I think you told us about it and then I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. And then it might have actually been on a work trip where I was back at my hotel for the night, and I was like, oh, I just like want to spend tonight watching something. And on my Prime Video, that was the first thing that showed up. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll try it. And then I freaking got sucked in. I was like, this is so bad, but so good.
I was like, welcome, Grace.
I was like, Janice, I get it. I get what you were evangelizing. I receive.
That's when I was like, okay, now I can totally relate to Grace. And she's such a relatable person. So I love that. I love that like you have your intelligence side, but then you also will love trash TV with me. So
okay, Janice, it's not trash TV. I actually think there's
let's get in. Let's dive in.
Like, I mean, I don't know how far we want to go back on The Summer I Turned Pretty, because obviously there's been multiple episodes seasons. And I will say there have been really, you know, some bad episodes, and one that we watched together.
The one episode we decided to watch together was so bad. It was the one episode where nothing happened. Like all the storylines we don't care about were just taking up the whole show.
Totally.
And then the last 5 minutes, that's when we're like, okay, that was worth it.
Yeah, truly. But why I want to say it's not trash TV is because this last episode, which was 5.
Yes, I believe it was 5.
Was actually directed by Jenny Han, who wrote this series, right? And I just felt like it was so beautifully done. Like I actually felt like, wow, this is I'm gonna get blasted for this somehow. But I think there was like true like cinematography to it.
Yeah, I agree.
The music has been impeccable always. So there's also that saving grace to the series, the TV series. But like, yeah, I just felt like, wow, that was something really beautiful I just watched. Like I felt so many emotions and layers in how she directed it.
Wow, really?
So I want to say it's not trash TV. It's not equivalent to like, I don't know, reality TV, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just mean like sometimes the acting is so bad.
Yeah, touche.
But I will say the episode 5, the episode that Jenny Han directed, was very beautiful. Are you talking about the peach scene specifically? Yes. Hence the peach pie.
Yes, the peach pie. Yes. I also got this random peach electrolyte drink.
Oh, it's peach too.
Yes. Well, it's peach pina, but yeah.
Okay. I see. Yes, that scene. Can we talk about that scene?
Well, what do you want to start with on that?
So I actually audiobooked all 3 books. A lot of times I'll watch the show and I'll be like, I thought I saw this before, but I realized it's what I read and what it was on my mind. And the show does a really good job of like depicting how I imagined it. The peach scene was very beautiful. But like seeing it like in person, it was a little awkward.
Oh, like it was too much.
Yeah, it was a little long.
I could see
but it was saying. Beautiful.
Yeah. No, I could see what you're saying because it was a lot of like long pauses of long gazes and her eating like 4 bites of it and then like they were very generous on like the the scene for sure. Yeah, I get it. You know, I actually don't remember much of the audiobook.
Oh, you also listened to it?
Well, so after I watched season 1 and 2, because I watched this all like last year, and so I'm very late to watching the whole series. I was like, what happens? I need to know what happens. And I was like, oh wait, this is a book, so I could listen to the audiobook. So I did listen to it. Like I would listen to it. I borrowed it on Libby, I think, and I listened to it while I was putting the kids to bed.
So you're like laying there with your earphone
literally
on?
with my AirPod on. And so, but then I don't remember that scene. So when I watched it, I was like, oh, everyone's talking about this iconic part in the book, and they're gonna be bringing it to life through TV. I actually didn't remember that was it, but I still thought like, oh, this is so meaningful because this is a moment where he's like really breaking that.
That's so true, actually.
That he's like breaking that moment fully where he's like, I can't do this anymore. Like I love her. I can't like hold back. Exactly. It's so beautiful.
Wow. Okay.
Like my heart flutters.
That's the episode we should have watched together.
I know. I think we would have freaked out. Did you watch alone?
No. So like it really depends on who you watch it with too.
Who did you watch it with?
I watched it with my friends Jane, Sarah, and Taeyang.
Don't they also like it?
Only Jane likes it. And Sarah doesn't care about it. Say didn't watch the beginning of season 3. Like she watched season 1 and 2, but she wasn't caught up. But she was supportive of it. And then by the end, I turn around. Sarah and Jane are knocked out.
Oh, really?
And Sarah, only Say and I are awake watching it. So I don't know. I don't want to blame them.
Yeah.
But it felt like, I walked away thinking like, that was kind of like an awkward. It was pretty. It was kind of awkward. Like a lot of like drawn out scenes. But I realized we're getting the perspective of Conrad, right?
Yes.
So what Conrad sees is like just like her beauty and how
much he loves her.
Yeah, how much he loves her.
And how much he just wants to like take care of her. Yeah. Like that drip on her chin.
Yeah.
He like wants to take care of her. Oh.
Wow. You know what? Actually talking about it with you now, I think.
Rewatch it.
Yeah, I think I need to rewatch it.
Yes. I mean, just that whole episode, right? The internal dialogue he has and then what he actually says to her. Like that was so, I thought, well done. And to your point, it is like from his perspective. So even the gaze on Belly, like I felt they put so much attention to detail on that.
Wow.
And so it was just.
So that's all Jenny Han's directing.
That's my understanding. I mean, I mean, honestly, a lot of this is sourced from like social media.
No, I think so. No, it's legit.
I thought it was so beautiful. And I think people were also saying like, oh, you know, it was a good episode because there's just so much behind the scenes content on it.
Wait, what does that mean though? Like
there's not a lot of behind the scenes clips that are being posted by like the actual actors or the or Jenny Han, but for this episode there's just like a ton of stuff on it, like on how they directed that peach scene, or like even just the Michael's scene and all those things. There's just
like a lot of time spent on those scenes. I see.
And the music. Yes, Janice,
what was like your favorite? What is your favorite track so far in this new season?
I think that the soundtrack is catered to millennials.
Oh, I agree.
It's obviously, I mean, I wouldn't just say just millennials, but like if you think about it, there's a lot of like 90s music and early 2000s, and it's like, you know, Linger, which is like originally a Cranberry song, right? But it's, I think, a cover that they have on the show. Like I felt like Linger was really good. I
actually didn't know that song.
Oh,
but
really?
I found out through social media that's like a throwback.
Great. It was like, I love it. You know, there was also like this song called Heartbeats by Jose Gonzalez, which is, I think, a little bit more indie, but like it meant something to me personally because my husband shared that song with me while we were dating. I didn't know that song until he shared it with me while we were dating. But yeah, there's just like very specific songs that I really liked in this season so far. And then I think just the preceding ones, I did think, I'm not like a big Swiftie, but I've appreciated her more because of the show, actually.
Yes, 100%. I was never a Taylor Swift fan, actually. I was like, I don't understand why she's so famous. But seasons 1 and 2 made me start to love Taylor Swift songs.
Yeah. I think they like did it perfectly where the songs are just like the best depiction of that scene. Yeah. And so I have grown a deeper appreciation for Taylor Swift, which I know I maybe should have earlier. Yeah.
And you know, now think about it, maybe they're not including a lot of Taylor Swift songs in season 3 yet, because like it's more of like a child, like teenage, you know, a lot of the songs that they played at least were like her younger years.
Yeah.
So
actually that's so true. I don't know. But yeah, I'm very excited for the rest of the season. Wow. There's so many speculations online. People are like zooming up on like the series poster and being like, well, look, she's not wearing the same ring in the post. Yeah, did you see that? I just see so much content and I always send it to you, Janice.
Yeah. We're just always share it to me. I love it. Also though, I will say like audiobooking it and watching it, like audiobooking it, I thought like, okay, you know, whatever, like someone could be in love with two brothers, it's fine, it's like, you know, no biggie. But I will say, like in the recent episode, in the Jenny Han episode, seeing the bed scene, and then her hopping onto Jeremiah's lap, I was like, okay, this is weird. This is definitely weird.
That is very weird.
It is not okay for someone to be dating and sleeping with two brothers, you know?
Yeah.
And
I get it.
As a mom, you know, how would that make you feel if your kids...
I know. No, well, we cannot bring my kids into that. This is a fantasy that I live in that is like not related to reality, you know? But no, I get it. I don't know if I was a mom, or, you know, I am a mom, but like as a mom, two boys, like brothers... over the same girl, I don't know what I would do. I would just like cut that out as soon as possible.
Yeah, especially now that you have a show.
I know that like can picture what that could look like. I'm like, oh my god, that's so twisted, and they're gonna need to go through a lot of therapy for that. It's just not okay.
But we just gotta ignore that detail a little bit. For now, she's with Jeremiah, right? But I saw that, I was like, okay, like it is weird.
It is weird. But the last thing I'll say on The Summer I Turned Pretty is how I've been also sending you, Janice, the parallels between The Notebook.
Yes! I'm so glad that you I totally forgot about that.
Yes. So I'm not as avid of a fan of The Notebook as you are, but I know that you are because of Honey Jam.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was so interesting.
Yeah, that is, because it's so random, right?
Yes, very random. But I was like, I see the parallels. Yeah. No wonder Janice loves the show.
Yeah, I don't know if it's intentional, but like fans are putting together like side to side photos, right, of scenes from The Notebook and The Summer I Turned Pretty. Yes, exactly. And it's crazy.
I know.
Jenny Han.
I know.
We love her.
my other sorry, we could talk forever about this, but I also think like I actually don't know anything about Jenny Han.
Yeah,
but
true.
I was wondering, like, she's Korean, right?
Yeah, she's Korean American.
Like, I wonder if she grew up watching Korean dramas.
Yeah.
And like if she has been influenced from that in some way, and like that is somehow projecting into how she is like bringing this book into TV format. And I don't know. I was wondering why I love it so much. Yeah. And there's probably a lot of different reasons, but I was wondering what the Korean drama formula influence might be in her work.
Wow, that's a really good question.
Yeah, like if I ever met her, I want to ask her like, what's your favorite Korean drama? Has that ever influenced the way you write or like your storylines or how you are thinking about the show?
Yeah, I bet. For sure.
Yeah.
That's such a good question. If there's ever like a live Q&A or something where like, they ask a question, you should definitely, I'll like forward it to you.
We should just go to a live taping.
We should. We should. Wow. Oh my gosh, Grace, that was so perfectly said. Once again, I'm so glad we had that recap on Summer. Maybe, after the finale, we need to have you back on and we could talk about it.
Let's bring Jane too.
Yes, all three of us can talk about it. Thank you so much for coming on, Grace.
Thank you for having me.
How do you feel? I always like to ask.
Oh, how do I feel?
After the episode.
Yeah, I've never been on a podcast before.
Wow.
I hate listening to my own voice, so I don't know if I will actually listen to my own episode.
You better. You will.
But I'm honored. Thank you for having me on. I'm a fan.
Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I know I did. Please leave us a review. Leave us 5 stars on Spotify. I think we're like 150 reviews. So let's bump that up to 200. Well, thanks for listening, and we will see you guys next time.